What up, guys? Jason Guyman here with PressureWashHelp.com, and today we got a guest on. But before I hit with the guest, I want to talk a little bit about the 3 failures of why you can't do $1,000 days. And the reason why it brought me up to this is I was talking with somebody this morning. I'm not going to mention their names. It's not with Michael here. It was somebody completely different that's been in business, that's been doing Christmas lights and pressure washing, and is very successful in all of those. And I wanted to hit on that of, why he called me this morning and said, Jason, I'm struggling. I'm spending money in the marketing. I'm doing these things. I'm doing all this, and I'm just not getting the job. I don't know why. And so we're going to hit on why. And so the first thing is, first thing I always hit is, well, what are you doing to do marketing? And he was like, well, I'm spending $3,000 a month in AdWords and it's not growing. Well, I was like, are you spending $3,000 or are you spending, $2,000 and $1,000 for somebody running it? And he's like, I'm spending $2,000 and $1,000 probably for somebody running it. So I'm like, okay, so if we can 10x that should, $15,000, $20,000. Hopefully we can get out of that return. But then he's like, then I got an employee that I pay $2,000 a week, and it's just not working, Jason. And so, but I can't go back on my word of letting him go. But then I get down to the root problem. I'm like, because he's like, I can't keep doing marketing. I can't keep marketing my business. I'm like, well, you got an employee. You're paying $2,000 or $1,000 a week, and why can't you do it? And he's like, well, I can't leave him alone. I'm like, so you just got an overpaid employee is what you got at that point. And so with that said, this is some things that can keep you from not getting $1,000. So one is marketing. If your marketing's not working, change it. Figure out something different. If you hire the wrong people, then that's another problem. And then lastly is if you buy stupid stuff, that can cause you other issues. So with that said, we will get going here. And tonight I have Michael on, and he is just starting up in the pressure washing business. So with that, we're going to have some questions and answers of them on that. And so that way you can, if you have some questions, I will see what we got going on here. But we're going to hit some of those things. So Mike Williams put, who wants to do $1,000 a day to make $250,000 to $300,000 in a month? That's what we do. And so, $1,000 a day per couple trucks. That's exactly right. Our goal when I had my business was $1,250 to about $1,500. At the end, we were at $1,500. And just started. Good evening, Mr. Truth Seeker. So these are some things that we can do. So go ahead. Good evening, Jason, and everyone in the pressure washing community. So, Michael, tell me, who are you and a little bit about you.
My name is Michael Just. I'm from Mustang, Oklahoma, which is a suburb of Oklahoma City. I'm 45 years old. I'm a husband, father of 2. I work a 40-hour job, desk job, and
so Michael sent me an email a couple weeks ago. Actually, I sent Michael an email, and he sent me an email back. And he started out by saying, I'm primarily wanting to do this for supplemental income, because he does have a 40-hour week job. And so this is something that you can do for supplemental. And so how did you come into I want to do this as a side job versus just to give me some extra money?
Oh, well, I had over all of quarantine, I was working about half part-time. I was still getting paid full-time. And I was like, man, if I had a job I could do every other day, like I'm doing my full-time job, and, work for somebody and make some extra cash, man, that'd be awesome. And then people kept talking about getting side hustles. And I was just like, man, I need a side hustle. Well, I went back to working full-time, and just kept thinking about a side hustle and just wanting to make extra cash. It'd be nice to not have to worry about bills and stuff. So I blew an oil line on my turbo on my 2011 F350 and had to clean up a big oil spill in my driveway, and went to Lowe's and bought a cheap electric pressure washer and just worked my driveway over, for several hours trying to get that oil up. But it was kind of fun and satisfying. But my back hurt at the end.
Yeah,
Well,
after hours of pressure washing with your back, man. And you did this with the electric one, correct?
yeah, so one of those short lanced, electric ones that. But I had fun doing it, And so I was watching on, yeah, I guess, watching on YouTube, and I saw a video come up of a guy pressure washing and talking about his side hustle, and I was like, man, it just hit me. So I sold a bunch of stuff I didn't use in my garage and bought a 4 gallon per minute pressure washer and a surface cleaner, and just fell in love with it through TikTok, man. And just I kind of kicked it down, you say kick can down the road for about a month, and then I finally just said, man, I'm doing it. I took that electric pressure washer over to my folks' house, and my dad was going to use it and he never did, so I ended up with my setup. And
So
so
you just kind of got started this couple weeks ago and actually
yeah.
start going prep for money, correct? And what has been ways that you've gotten jobs or that kind of thing?
The number one thing is how you talk about putting signs out, and just simple signs that are straightforward and to the point. And my signs say power washing with my telephone number at the bottom.
And so, how
And
many jobs has that? How much money has that made you off that first batch of signs?
$675 last weekend, and between today and this Tuesday evening, $850.
So this is just starting out, and you put out how many signs to get that?
Oh, I've probably put out 10 to 15 out of the 120 I bought,
So
which
you
I've got
got
another 100 on order.
so you got a lot more signs to get out to make more money, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I could. I'm probably missing out on money with those signs sitting in my garage, man.
Yeah. And so
I'm gonna
that's
go put some out by Lowe's on Friday night or Thursday night, like you said, or Friday night before the weekend.
so. What are some things that was some fears that you've had to overcome that helped you get to where you are now to be able to start putting signs out and making money?
Like the biggest fears I overcame was I'm gonna buy this equipment, and I'll do one job and I'll just absolutely hate it and end up selling it for half of what I got paid for it.
Right, right, right.
Just kind of like, it's kind of a nice investment. I could put that money somewhere else.
But now that you're making money, it's like, oh, this is a pretty good thing.
Oh
What?
man, like it's fun putting signs out. Like I know I'm just planting a money bush out there on the side of the road.
I like
you
that.
know,
Planting the money bushes out there.
and just going by every couple of weeks and picking up cash off of it.
So, what are some things that I know we talked a little bit in the beginning of, how I've helped you grow and things and
Mm-hmm.
how you've overcame other things in your life. And so, what are some other things that you've overcame in your life that has gotten you to this point? Because would you been able to do this a year or two ago to be able to run a pressure washing
Uh,
business?
man, 3 to 4 years ago, I was morbidly obese, hovering around 400 pounds, and found a guy through a podcast, on the internet, kind of like I found pressure washing, and found him through Adam Carolla, and his name's Vinny Tortorich, and his thing is no sugars, no grains. So it's a low carb diet that I've been following for almost 4 years now. So I'm 45 years old. If I was, 400 pounds still, I would be sleeping on the couch right now, sleeping off dinner.
And so, you probably didn't have a lot of energy back then either, did you?
No, not at all. So I've lost all that weight, and I don't want to doesn't, I'd take up the whole show about that, but I've lost that weight and I've just been full of energy. I owe everything to Vinny Tortorich. Um, that which I'm learning that I'm owing a lot to you, man. Just kind of like same kind of relationship. So
So,
pretty fortunate to find him. So pretty
so,
fortunate to find you.
and I mean, how long have you been watching and listening to me for?
Uh, about 6 weeks, eight
6 weeks.
weeks.
Awesome. So in 6 to 8
Yeah.
weeks, you've done almost made your $1,000 back.
Yeah. Off of those stupid 4 year old or whatever fourth grade signs that you talk about.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to read about gutters and driveways and porches and patios and
Right.
siding
Right. No. No.
while they're driving by it.
And that's true. That's well, and a lot of people don't know what they mean. A lot of times we go down this road of we go down this road of thinking that we got to show our logo and all this stuff, and
Oh yeah.
we're going to use all these terms that are industry specific terms, and that doesn't
Yeah.
help anybody at the end of the day.
SH House Wash for four, you know, with your logo and www dot whatever.
Right. And so
Just
this guy here, I'm going to actually be seeing in a couple of days, actually tomorrow and Tuesday, Central Illinois Power Wash. Keep up with the signs. Eventually you get booked out 2 months, and your next problem will be having more jobs than you know what to do with, and to expand a good problem to have. And Central
yeah.
Illinois Power Washing is another guy that is doing it part-time. I mean, it's pretty
Yeah.
much a full-time business for him because he's a fireman, so he's got more time to do it. But he's
Oh,
doing it
nice.
part-time, and it's changed his life of what he's been able to do. He's been able to pay off a lot of his debt. He's been able to do a lot of
Yeah.
things and have financial freedom. And so those are some cool things that come with the side of this. So what are some of your goals, even as doing it part-time?
Well, we almost bought a new car, a few months back, and we just sat down and looked at it. We're like, man, we can't even afford another car, which because my wife's car is getting old and pretty rough, and we were wanting to get her a new car, and we just couldn't afford it, and I was kind of embarrassed, man. So I was like, I got to get this side hustle going. So that's my goal is, make extra $2,000, 2,500 a month, so we can, if there is a big unexpected bill come up while we have a brand new car payment, if that's what we do, or save up enough cash to pay cash for a car in
Yep.
2 years.
Yeah.
So just to live comfortably like that, just and not be super rich,
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
I wouldn't mind it if I got there, but I just want it to be a one-man operation. But whenever my son gets old enough, he can help me. We'll
How
kind of
old is
turn
your
it into a
son?
two-man. He's 6 years old, so 10 years from now, when I'm 55, and he's wanting to help me, or he'd probably start at 14 or 15.
But
So
and that's the thing with the business like this is you can do it part time. You can do it as a supplement your income to be able to do
yeah,
things, because just like you're saying with the side of the car payment and stuff like that, then you can't do vacations, you can't do other things
yeah,
because you're strapped. And so these are some things that can help you supplement to be able to do those things.
yeah. And like I said, hire my son in a few years, man. Just that might be all he knows, and that's what he wants to do, and make it a full-time thing where he's doing those commercial jobs for $1 million a year.
So, since you're so new at doing this, what was that feeling of when you first hit that bleach on the house and watched that green go away, or that
Oh, I did
first
it on a
feeling?
driveway downspout.
You
Like
did.
I did on a gutter downspout onto a driveway, and it was dark, mildew or whatever. And I sold the job for $375 doing the front driveway and the back patio. And I walk up there and hit it with that SH, and it just disappears. And I'm like, so these people could have just sprayed bleach on this and saved themselves quite a bit of money.
And
And I'm like,
so,
oh.
But you're also
Oh,
saving them.
they're just paying me for my labor, 3 hours of labor.
Right.
That's all they're doing. Yeah.
Right. And it's not about that either.
Yeah.
It's about time. It is about time. It is about having time to spend with your family, and that's what you're
Hmm.
giving, and that's what we're selling at the end of the day. We're not selling nothing special. We are selling time is
A
what we're
service,
selling.
like you said, you're a customer service company that pressure washes houses
And
incidentally. Or
and that's so 100% true, and like I was telling the story in the beginning with the person that was struggling a little bit is you know getting your systems down so that way you can do things to make sure things will happen the way you want them to, because at
yeah,
the end it is about that. Because I asked him, I'm like, well, how many 5-star reviews you got? Well, we don't get those very often. Well, why not? Because I don't have a system set up for that. And I'm like, well, that's important. All
yeah,
those little things are the important things of growing your pressure washing business. Even as a one-man band, if you can get them 5-star reviews coming in and you're getting 50-60% of a 5-star review, then what that does is then you don't have to put out so many signs, because that's going to start working and helping you grow
okay,
so you can do things to get to the next level. Does that make sense?
yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So, so I made $300 a day out helping a vet in 2.5 hours. Um, and
Nice.
and that's some things that we can do too, is help other people out. It's not all about making money. I know I push that hard, and I talk a lot about it, but we can help other people out, and that helps a lot of things too.
Yeah, yeah. That
So
first weekend, I got my pressure washing set up, and I didn't. I the trailer I had was a joke. Um, I did my neighbor's driveway and front walk because they were having a graduation deal, and I said, I'll do it if you support me on your company page, because he's one of the largest roofing contractors here in Oklahoma City. So he said, absolutely. So I did it, and he actually gave me $100 and spread the word about me. And then I did my sister's driveway and everything for my niece's graduation. So it felt good to do that for people and not expect any money in return there. And it was kind of fun. And I got to learn what to do not to mess up, because they weren't paying me. So if I'd have messed it up, I wouldn't have felt that bad. I would have definitely wanted to help them get it fixed. But, just kind of learn, you know, training wheels there for a little bit to do
and
those
that's
free
part.
jobs.
A lot of people have fear, because fear is not always a good thing. Of I'm going to screw something up, I'm going to
Yeah.
blow something through the window, or the whole
Yeah.
house is going to fall over and just melt down to nothing because I'm going to spray
Yeah.
bleach on it. And come overcoming those fears can be hard sometimes, and but we can do hard things. And so that's
Yeah.
one thing I like hitting on is just go do something, go start it. Don't be afraid
Yeah.
not to start, just go do it. Go, if you're afraid of putting signs out, go put signs out, just do it. Go talk to
Yeah.
customers, it's okay, they're not going to bite you. So you had said you had done sales earlier in when I was talking to you, but you were saying too that you kind of like doing the sales part of doing the pressure washing. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, and just so I like talking to people. I like being in front of people and seeing what their needs are. And that's what's kind of cool, is just going to their door and knocking on their door and talking to them and walking around the house. Saying, well, there's reality and there's expectations. Reality is I'm not going to get every stain out of your back patio.
Right.
I'll get it clean. I'll get the dirt off of it. It'll look new. It'll look bright and shiny. But there's going to be those stains that unfortunately, concrete's like a sponge and it soaks it up. So give them reality. Don't find out what their expectations are and give them what the reality is going to be. And they'll kind of lead you down the path of what they need. And they're the ones that are going to upsell themselves. They're going
Yeah.
to say, what about this here? Well, that's something I can definitely take care of for you, but That's going to be an extra $75. Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Because they got the checkbook out, they just want to, they just want to take the day off and give you the money to do it. So,
Well, and time you got to either buy a pressure washer, go rent a pressure washer, go pull the pressure washer out of your garage that you haven't started in a year, and the gas is all gummed up in the carburetor. So now you got to go take it to the mechanic because it won't start. And
yeah.
that right there, that's why we do what we do. It's not like they're pressure washing every weekend and that pressure washer
Mm-mm.
started. And so, I used to love seeing pressure washers in the garage when I pulled up. And the biggest thing that I
Yeah.
really, really loved is when I could see when they've been out pressure washing and they did their first, couple slabs of concrete. And the best thing, my question was how long did that take you? Oh, that took me like 6 or 7 hours and I couldn't walk for 3 days. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're right. That's
And
right.
you can
I'm going to
still
be
see
done
like
here in
little,
about 30 minutes. So that's how this stuff works.
yeah. And you can still see the little swirl marks from theirs, because they're just sitting there working it like a pencil across their driveway.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
then you go over
Absolutely.
it with the,
So,
and
what are some questions that you have for me that I can help you with?
I'd really like to get it into the roof washing. Um, I'll ask you a couple technical things and maybe some marketing after that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'd really like to get into roof washing. There's not many two-story houses in Oklahoma City in the area, so if I can spray 30 feet in the air tops with solution that I can control and know that I'm getting the right amount of solution on it onto that roof, and then I guess wash it off with the same gun, just no solution in it, right? Um,
No, we can let it sit up there. So the biggest thing is you're going to have a soft wash system for that to happen, or of some type, and that can be,
okay.
the 12-volt pump and the hose. You don't have to have some elaborate thing. The more elaborate, obviously, is the better. But you can have just a 12-volt pump of the 5.5 gallon pump. You can get it for about $200. And
Okay.
so you get that. You'll need some hard suction hose, and there's two ways you can do it. And we'll talk about the first way first. You can batch mix. So if you just have, I got Donovan on here. When he first started, he just had a 12-volt, and he had a 55-gallon garbage can, and he would fill up that. He would put his bleach in there, put his water in there, and then spray that up there and do that. And so that's kind of the really cheap method to doing things. Or even if you had it, you don't even need a 55-gallon. You could probably get away with a 25-gallon and spray it and do it. Now,
Okay.
and then you'll need about 150 to 200 feet of. You can do either half-inch or 5/8 hose. You
Okay.
can actually use the Flexzilla hose that you can get off of Amazon in one roll. I don't recommend screwing two together because that just gives you a leak somewhere that could possibly come in the middle. So that's
Okay.
why we're going to use that. So half inch versus 5/8, it's better to do 5/8. You'll get further distance with 5/8
Okay.
hose than a half-inch hose. So that's why we do 5/8 hose versus half-inch hose.
Okay. So
Now,
just a garden hose on that 12-volt pump.
yes, that is correct. The other thing you could do is, especially if you're just going to do roof wash, do you have tanks on your trailer at all, or no?
Not yet. I
Okay,
meant
so
to
if
send
you
you some
had
pictures of it.
if you had tanks and you got a water tank and a bleach tank, you can do a mixer valve and come up with just two to the mixer valve where you turn both of them on and then suck that hose, and now you're not mixing it at that point.
Okay.
So
I got you.
that's just some ways that you can do. And you can, like Donovan's saying, you still charge a premium. You don't go cheap just because you don't have the equipment. You're still going to charge, there's a lot of risk when we're talking about roof cleaning. So I would still, my minimum was $500, and that was a little bitty house, so it's worth the minimum being higher. So that way, because you got a lot of risk when you're doing roof cleaning. First off, you're on the roof, or you're climbing up
On a
ladders.
ladder.
You're on a
Yeah.
ladder, and then second off, you can kill stuff. When we're at that 6% range, 5-6% range, stuff dies pretty instantly. So we got to make sure that we're pre-wetting everything, we're wetting everything, and we're wetting everything. We climb up the ladder, we spray it, we come back down, we're rinsing everything, rinsing. And so we do
Okay.
have to make sure that we are being careful when we're doing this stuff. So that's why my minimum, I start out at 500 and go up from there. So those are some things that we really got to be careful with. So.
Okay. And okay. And on that end of that hose, and what was the length of the hose you said?
I would do about 200 feet. That way you can keep it parked out in the road and not have to
And you
worry
can get a
about.
garden.
And it's just the Flexzilla 5/8 garden hose. Yes.
Okay. 200 foot. And now, do you have a gun on the end of that hose?
Yep, you have a gun. I actually got some videos on building that gun. It's
Okay.
just it's just a half-inch ball valve, PVC Schedule 80, that goes to a nice little like a foot or 18-inch piece of plastic pipe that screws into the other end of the ball valve, and then you got to get your cup get it down to 1/4 inch so you can put the different J rods in it.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's kind of like building a leg at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay, well, cool. And then you just rinse that with water and that's it.
Yep, and then once you're done, you want to rinse out that water, because otherwise, now with the roof, you don't have to rinse it. We just spray, let it go, as long as it's got gutters. If you don't have gutters, then you need to rinse the roof off. But if you got gutters, you start at the bottom, work your way up. As long as everything is brown, you're good to go. If it's black, you need to reapply it, and that's letting it sit and letting it almost dry, and then we'll reapply it. You do want to use surfactant in it, so that way it kind of keeps it up there longer. But I don't go crazy with the surfactant. I don't go real nuts with it. I just use whatever my house wash mix is. That's what my roof mix is, pretty much. So.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense on roof cleaning?
Yeah. Yeah.
And DJ just put on here his last roof was $1,100. So there's money to be made in roof cleaning.
Yeah, because that wouldn't be too terribly long.
No, and when that $1,100 usually only takes you about 2 hours, 2 to 2.5 hours, and that's him working by himself. So, and he likes to talk a lot to the customer, so that's still pretty good at the end of the day. 2.5 hours.
Okay. All right. Not much more technical.
And like somebody, what she put, if it's brown, it'll come down. If it's black, you'll get a call back. So that's some way to remember.
Okay. On your marketing, you talk about whenever you're doing a job, doing a 5x5, or there was something else
doing a 5 around,
or 5 around, yeah.
Okay, so a 5 around is we do this house here. If we're doing this house, we're going to go right here and do the neighbors. We're going to give a door hanger to him, or put it on the door hanger. We're going to go across the street, and we're going to do those 3 across the street, and then come back and do the other side of the neighbor's house, and that's called a 5 around. And that's just a little door hanger that we're going to put on there to do it.
Okay, that makes sense. And then you said even maybe do a 10 around?
If you're not busy and you want to get exercise, you can do 10 around, yes. But the problem is if you just start getting busy, you still want to do those 5 arounds, so that way because you will get calls from those 5 arounds.
And it takes, less than a minute to do those.
It takes no time. To do it. And the other thing is by the time you do this also allows you to walk around the house after you've done that, so it's allowed that house to sit there and kind of dry, and it makes sure that once we do that final walk around, that way if there's any streaks, that the mud streaks or anything that's come out of that back of that siding, that we can catch that, so that way we don't have an issue.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you recommend Facebook marketing much? I've done it, and I just get, and like I think I said in my email, I get people from California and West Virginia, and
Yeah, just making sure that you set it up right. Facebook has been a little goofy here lately. It's not just you; it's everybody that have been
Okay.
doing that. The thing that I would hit in is the Facebook groups. All your neighborhood groups.
Oh,
Your
okay.
mom groups, your subdivision groups. All of those groups are really good to do when we're out there doing that. So.
Okay. Just posting in there, and what can you go live in there, or what are you doing? What are you posting in there? Just hey.
We can post lives. I would post just, hey, this is what we can do, stuff like that. We're also going to put shoot. I'm reading comments and you guys are messing me up
No.
on the comments. We're going to post in the groups just what we can do, and then also we want to build relationships in those groups. So we're not just talking pressure washing. We're going to say, if somebody asks who's a good electrician, Sparky the electrician is. Who's a good plumber, Bob Crack is a good plumber. And so reason why we're doing that is we're building those relationships to that, so that way we can do that. And then like Ray put from Spray Wash Academy, when we do our 5 rounds, we also want to put a sign, which I'm hoping you put the sign in the yard before.
Yeah.
I usually do that first off, and so the
Oh,
goal of
really?
that
Okay.
is it's all about touches. It's all about touches. So the reason why I say it's all about touches is when they're driving home, they're going to see the yard sign. When they go to the front door, they're going to see that door hanger. When they leave to go back out, they're going to see another yard sign at the house. And then when they get to the end of the subdivision, we're going to put another yard sign out there. So, they said the old saying was you got to touch somebody 7 to 10 times, but I've actually heard it up to 30 times that we're touching. So those are reasons why we want to keep touching these people, so that way we can grow our business and get more phone calls. And so, this is kind of the low budget. Even in Facebook, you can pinpoint that house on Facebook and run an ad within a mile or a 5 mile radius of that house. So that way we're
Oh,
getting
okay.
more touches in that area.
Okay.
And then if they have a Facebook group and we can get into that group, then we can put another thing out there to help do that too.
Okay. Well, good deal. I can't think of anything else I was going to ask you.
All right. Well, I'm going to hit some other
Um,
questions here, and then if you come up with another question, then you can ask that question.
okay.
Central Illinois Power Wash and put, you still do 5 rounds when you're booked really far out. Yes. Hard to justify spending time and money on marketing when people don't want to wait that long. And the other thing I would say is keep raising prices, and you still want to keep marketing, because you will start slowing down here in August, especially if I know you're booked out a month, but you will start slowing down. So it is good to keep marketing. You got right here, Angie I put out 25 signs for a test to see how they would do. I didn't get one phone call. My sign is basic pressure wash phone number. The only calls I get are from door hangers. I would say keep putting them out. 25 is not a very big test. When did you put them out? Did you put them out on Monday and they got picked up Monday afternoon? That's why we put them out Friday or Saturday morning, so that way they make the weekend. People usually aren't looking for pressure washing on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They're usually looking for it on Friday and Monday. They're usually looking for it on Monday when they're coming back in for work. Let's see. Jimmy Dudley I put 25 signs out last week testing out a new area. No calls for a week. Then today, 4 calls. And that's the thing. That's what I always say. You never know what sign, what door hanger, what business card you pass out, what connection you make on LinkedIn, what connection you make on Facebook that could be worth $10,000 or $25,000. Those are things that you just don't know. You don't know what card it is. So that's the reason why we got to keep putting it out to make sure that we keep going and getting it done. Big Rob just put just in time for the huge. My signs kick butt, although half were stolen. Yep, and that's going to happen. They're going to get stolen. 25 signs in a new area and one in one day. Let's see. Anyone? Gutter cleaning. Oh, that's was asking. I don't. Are you still there, Michael? You kind of froze on me. Well, I might have lost him. I don't know. It's saying you're there. Man, I wish we could post pics here. I did a 2020 by 20 concrete patio that was so black, the algae and mildew, I couldn't believe it. I so pre-treated it and pressure washed it, and it came like new. Hey, that's good pictures. That, like I say, you never, and that goes back. You don't ever know what picture might be worth $25,000 or $100,000 picture, and that's the purpose of getting our before pictures, getting our after pictures, getting our during pictures, getting our working pictures, all of those things, because we never know what picture might be worth what we're doing. And so that's why we want to keep posting pictures. We want to keep doing the things that we need to do to make sure we do that. There's an attachment that hooks up to an air compressor to garden hose. Open your ball valve and blow all the water out of your lines and pressure, or just run antifreeze through. Are you still there, Michael?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're frozen.
Okay. On video, I'm sorry. I don't know. Because I was talking earlier and you couldn't hear me.
I got you. That's all right. I don't know what happened. I screwed my yard signs to foam pole, and they are tillfall.org. This is a good question. Should door hangers be flashy or simple like signs? So door hangers are like EDDM or like Facebook. The door hanger versus EDDM are the same. You got the time from the door to the trash can. And so EDDM, every direct door you have from the mailbox to the trash can. So make it simple, make it stick out, make one service big that sticks out. And so, you have just however far the driveway is from the mailbox to the garbage can, or from the front door to the garbage can. That's how long you got to catch that look. So it is definitely important to make sure that it is easy to read, that you do, and it's one simple thing. It's not 12 things, because by the time they get to the post office, by the time they get to the garbage can, that's how long you got to pull that sign out of there to get that done. Anyone deal with municipality water restriction, or as a business, are you exempt? No, if you have water issues, if they're low on water, you will be shut down. Especially I know some places in California have gotten shut down because they don't have water. So those are some things that you got to look at. Can I wash a Trex deck with SH? You want the technical answer or the which answer you want? I guess it's which Trex deck you got to. The newer Trex decks, if you go by the manufacturer's recommendation, they say to use 3,000 or 4,000 psi and a soap is what they say to use. So what they don't tell you what soap to use. So I use the house wash mix and then just rinse it off. You never know which one will be a 10,000. You're right, 100%. I say that all the time. Or a picture, you never know what picture could be a $100,000 picture. You never know. Question: are there improper ways to mount a 12-volt pump? Hey, Michael, are you still there or no?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, but it's kind of that.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. If nothing else, if you want to hang up, then I can call you back when I get done here, and then that way I can talk to you if you need me to. All right. So, question: are there improper?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, but you're cutting in and out. So, improper ways to mount a 12-volt pump. They say that you should mount it with the pump head down, so when it leaks, it don't go down the pump. But here's my thing about it. Once that thing starts leaking, that pump is junk anyway, pretty much. So I mount them both ways, and I never had an issue one way or the other. Yes, it'll run down and it's going to short the motor out. But you know what? When you got bleach spraying everywhere, it's still going to short that motor out. And a lot of times if you don't clean them out, and you don't keep them proper, it don't matter what you do. That's just part of it. Had a yard sign score me a $4,500 job last year. Experiment with all kinds of marketing and see what works best in your area. The marijuana is a hell of a drug. Yep. Central, you are correct. Got my first 5-star review. Customer loved my work. That is awesome, George. Awesome, awesome. That is cool, dude. I did a fence. It was black, and the customer was amazed how new it looked. And there. Let's see if that. All right. Add to the right. All right.
Yeah, I'm back here.
There you're back. You got any questions? Did you come up with any questions?
I did, and I was going back to the guy that said he nailed his sign to a pole or whatever. What's a Guyman pole? Like,
the Guyman pole is there's a video out on it about it's about a 3 or 4 foot piece of PVC that's I believe 1.5 inches, and you take a stapler gun, the stapler guns that are for like nailing carpet and stuff like that, the hammer ones, and you slide that in there, and then you take a piece of metal and that holds the sign, so then you're able to lift it up there, hit it in there, and it puts them up on the pole that way.
So it's just higher out of reach of like city workers.
It gets it so where people can't pull it down.
Or they utility workers, yeah.
Yeah, they stay a lot longer is what it's for.
Okay. So that's on YouTube, you said?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I believe it is. If you look up Jason Guyman, I don't remember what it is. I don't remember. I have to find it. So I always got to find it. I didn't name it something that I probably should have named it easier. So.
Okay. Man, I just appreciate everything. Thanks for answering all my questions. I don't want to sound arrogant, but do you have any more questions for me that you'd ask somebody else that was hesitant to get into the business, I guess?
What was some things that made you think about? I know you had said you watched it on TikTok, but that moment from going from TikTok to actually doing it, what was that transition?
I just said, quit thinking about it, quit being a pussy, just do it,
Yeah, I understand. And what was it just fear, or was it that you didn't think you could make money at it, or what?
Pissing my wife off, spending money that, that we could have spent on a bill and buying another toy that's just going to sit in the garage.
So saying that, how has she changed her mind a little bit now that you're bringing in money?
Yeah, it's because she asked me the other night. She's like, "What's your plan?" And I was like, "Just to, I might have to hustle a little more, but it's gonna pay off a lot more than a second job,
right?
Second hourly job, and I can do it every other weekend, one day a week, either a Saturday or a Sunday, and just try to knock out 3 or 4 jobs and live comfortably."
So with that said, what are some things like if you could do full time, would you ever consider going full time?
Because my boss, at work, he was kind of excited for me. He's like, "Oh man, this is awesome. Yeah, you can leave my trailer at your house or at my house. You can leave your trailer out there. Come get it anytime you want, no problem." And he's like, "Man, this is awesome, dude. I'm so glad you're doing this." And he said, "How long are you gonna stay here?" I kind of jokingly said, "Whenever Scott starts costing me money sitting in this chair, I'm out." But I don't know if I'd ever do that.
So what would be something that would make you think can be considered, if you was bringing in, would consider going full time?
If I could do it full time and not really work 40 hours a week, because I don't think you have to. I think, you know, you might disagree. Maybe
No, I
you
don't
make more money.
disagree at all. I got Jeremy Cochran up in Indiana, middle of nowhere, Connorsville, Indiana, literally the armpit of Indiana, and he's doing a little over 100,000 a year. And him and his wife go out every day. They go out about 9 o'clock and get back about 3 o'clock, and they're done every day at 3:30.
Yeah, I mean, how awesome would it be to go to work at 9 o'clock, and you're probably taking a nice lunch break there, you know?
Yeah, I mean he's not
And
killing it at all. They're doing 3 jobs a day, and they're making, like I say, he's been doing a little over 135,000 for the last 4 to 5 years.
yeah, and that's probably, I mean, what, 10 months out of the year?
No, that's about 8 months out of the year.
8 months out of the year, and you hustle on that. I mean, don't work yourself to death 8 hours a day or
And
10
and
hours a
it comes
day,
down
but
to marketing. He does do good marketing. He's definitely not the cheapest. He's
yeah,
very, he's very expensive, but that's where he's at. And now he's, like I say, he's bringing in about 100 to 135,000 a year, and
yeah,
and that wasn't counting the cash at the end of the day.
okay,
So
yeah,
it's definitely doable. I mean, I don't know what you make as purchasing of that, but it's definitely doable of doing those numbers and not killing yourself. And that's why it's kind of interesting to see where you go. Now you do got to have a little bit of drive, and
hmm,
and to make you want to get out there and go do it. And the more you do it, the better off you get at it. The better off you will. You can keep growing and you can get it to the next level.
well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, the more you do it, the more you want it too. You know, like,
Well, yeah, it's kind of like a drug. It really is. The entrepreneur bug is kind of like a drug, especially the more now.
yeah,
Some people get lazy and they're ornery and they don't want to do nothing. That's a whole different issue. But
yeah,
and you got to keep working. And it's not. It's just like a job. When a lot of people when they quit their job, they want to think that they can sit around and do nothing, and it's not that. It's not that at
mm-mm.
all. 100%. But I also know people that go out there and they're working 70, 80 hours, 90 hours a week, and they're killing themselves, and they're still not spending time with their family. And yeah, they might
Yeah,
be making 500, 700, 900,000, but is that what you really want at the end either? No, that's not. That
yeah. At
because
what expense? You know?
at what expense? And that's why you can do this. You can have time with your family, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah. There was something I was going to ask you, but yeah, I think it's doable. I'd like to see where it's going to take me. I don't say I wouldn't do that, but I don't say I have to.
Right.
If that makes
Right.
sense.
No, yeah, and that's the thing, if you can. Here's the other thing too. While you're working and you got another job, this can help you get debt free. This can help you get to the places that if you do decide to go full time, you don't need to make as much because you've gotten to the point of where you're debt free and where you can
Yeah.
do things and be able to live like like a lot of people watch Dave Ramsey of live like no one else tomorrow. You live like no one else today, so you live like no one else tomorrow. And so if you can get debt free and you don't
Yeah.
have bills and you don't have the yoke of debt, that's the goal at the end of the day. So that way we can grow our business, we can get to the next level.
Yeah. It's kind of like, pressure washing is a stress reliever, but it helps you make but a decent amount of money to release that stress as well. So it's kind of, or relieve
Exactly.
that stress as well. Kind
So
of
you've taken
twofold.
my course, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm like halfway through it.
So
Kind of
how,
slacked off.
how has that helped you be able to start, and what are some, by doing the systems and stuff that I've got in there?
Uh, I really focused on the marketing, just putting those signs out there and making them simple. Don't spend $9 on a sign, spend $3. So, because you're going to put you can put three out to that one and get a better message across from that $3 sign than you would the $9 sign, because nobody'd have time to read it. I
Right.
think, I mean, that was something you touched on,
What
and that
about
might not
on
have
the?
been, if,
So I go pretty much deep in depth on marketing, but even on the pressure washing side, was you able to just go out there and hammer it right
Uh,
out of the get go with not worrying about screwing everything up?
yeah. After I did my sister's house and then my buddy's house, and just kind of used them as guinea pigs and just filled out my parameters, what I could do with that thing and what I couldn't.
Right.
So
Awesome. Awesome.
prepping it.
So if anybody wants to check that out, you can go to pressurewashhelp.com and check it out. Also, if you would like to go, oh yeah, that's Google Lead. I don't have that other one up there. If you go to tractiontour.com, we're actually having an in-person training, and that's where you will get the hands-on portion of it and how to grow your business side of it. So that's another thing that if anybody's looking to do that. I'm going to hit a couple more questions here, and then we're going to jump off here since we're at 50 minutes. Angie put, I picked up a $2,000 job. I'm somewhat underbid myself, but I'm also excited for the pictures, and they will be perfect for website and Google and Facebook and LinkedIn and anywhere else you can put them, next door and everything. So that's awesome, Angie. I also think the hotel stucco looks like it from pics, but haven't. Oh, you were asking about how to bid. I don't know where that question was, but how to bid for a hotel. Just try to figure out your time, stuff like that. We got somebody that's a hater on here, but we love Haterade. It's okay. Let's see. Any other questions on here? Northern Tool won't warranty my 12 volt because I mounted it vertical with pump facing up, 4 pumps in a row. How do they know how you mounted it? Don't tell them how you mount it. So far in 2021, I've put out 55 yard signs and I've done $57,000 on them. They work along with Facebook and word of mouth. That is amazing there, home improvement. 57,000 off of 55 yard signs.
Wow.
So,
And in
here's
fact,
the thing about yard signs, and this is what people don't get. It's not about just the yard sign and just that customer. A lot of times we worry about that one customer, and it's not about that. It's about that customer's friends. It's about the customer's neighbors. It's about the customer's relationships. And so that's why it is important. Ask for that referral. Hey, ma'am, hey, Miss Jones, do you have anybody else that you could refer me to? I talked to Coy in Dallas, and Coy did almost, I believe it was like $12,000 his very first month in pressure washing. And it was all because one woman went out there and got on Nextdoor and loved Coy to death. And it blew him up. He got like 5-10 jobs from that one lady off of Nextdoor. And so that is reason why we want to ask them. This is a thing that you can ask. Hey, I'm a small business. I'm just trying to start out. If you can give me a shout out on your favorite social media, I appreciate it very much. I'll send you some pictures if you want some before and afters to put up. And people will do that for you. And that is why we do that. Yesterday was my first $1,100 job. That's awesome, Richard. You will be doing something for 40 hours a week, but not in the field working. Yeah, that is true. Yep. All right, guys.
can I ask a question real quick?
Yep, go ahead.
How do you bid a job? Like, I've just been going and thinking about how long it's going to take me, and I just kind of bump it up each time to where I find a threshold to where they say no, and then just kind of maybe back it down a little bit from there.
So how to bid a job. So, good question. Way I did it is I always had a minimum. So at the end of my tender, it was $300 was my minimum. So that was my minimum thing. Now I know there's people out there that want to do by the square foot, and that's you do 25 cents, 30 cents per square foot, and that's one way to do it. But I still have a minimum. So the other way I did it is if $300 was my first house wash, that was up to 1,000 square feet was $300, and then from 1,000 to 2,000, I would add $50, $75. From there, I would add another $50, $7,500 as I went up into about 500 increments. And so That is how I did it. So that way, because sometimes we can actually outbid ourselves too. So if we do it by square foot and we got this big gigantic house, people will think commercial. Well, I can get 30 cents per square foot for a commercial, and you got this 100,000 square foot building. Nobody's going to pay $300,000 for you to wash a building. So that's why we did. That's the reason why we did it by the square foot or by the hour. I'm trying to shoot for that $300 an hour is my goal. So those are definitely some things that I did to help at the end of the day.
Okay.
And I'm going to hit on some hate here because I love Mike Williams. Truth is not hate. You're not far from truth at all, dude. You hate on everybody because you don't like competition, and all these YouTubers and all these people are, whatever you hate or rate on me, on everybody else. I don't know what to tell you, buddy, but all you're doing is I'm living rent free in your head right now, and that's what I love to do. So, because you comment on all my crap, and I haven't banned you yet, just because I don't mind it. But I mean, there's plenty of other people you can go sprint hate rate on, and I love when you do. It's just fun to watch you hate on people. So, you if you're going to come in here and listen to me for an hour and not give anything at all, then you're just as bad of hating on me as I'm hating on you right now. So, whatever, dude. So
what's the hate again?
I do what now?
What's the hate?
He's been saying all kinds of crap all the way through here of you need to just get out of it and blah 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 blah. So I'm trying to change somebody's life right here of being able to pay bills and stuff and be able to change things of his future. But all you want to do is spew hate. And so when you do that, I hope you feel really good about yourself at the end of the day. Because Michael,
if he's that good, he doesn't have to worry about me. He'll be too busy to worry about me.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. And my goal is to help people like you, Michael. My goal,
Thank you.
Last year, I had two guys. I had way more than that, but I had two guys that completely lost their jobs or almost completely lost their jobs. Actually, I had way more than that, but they made it either from about 80, 90,000 to over 150,000 and changed their family tree. Jason Huffner was another one. I don't know if he was on here or not, but he did $150,000 working it as a part-time job. He's a full-time firefighter and did $150,000. Literally, he's been able to pay off all his debt. He's been able to get debt-free, and that is why I do what I do, is to help people change their life, change their future, and change the future of your kids' lives. Because, if you're trying to get by 9 to 5 and you're struggling and you're just, you can't ever do anything, that's not what I'm for. I'm here to help you grow your business and be successful, whether you do it for part-time or full-time. We got Brian Williams. He's up in Indiana, and he's doing a little over 100,000 part-time. He's a full-time school teacher, and he does this on the time, and so he's been able to pay everything off, and so now he can live his life to do things that he wants to do versus working a 9 to 5 till you're 65 and you die, pretty much. And so that's not my goal at the end of the day. So, any last words?
No, just appreciate your time and appreciate what you're doing.
Awesome. Hang on a second, but before I jump off here, if you want to, you can go check out pressurewashhelp.com/free or Traction Tour, and there you will find all the information of that. Part-time or full-time, you can rock it, bro. That's awesome. So Jason's advice has helped me put 7 figures in my pocket. So wow. I even did a video on Jason review the soft wash and pressure wash training help in holiday work lights too. So you can do it, brother. Take action and keep at it. Take time, but we'll win if you keep at it and take action. So awesome, guys. Thanks for the positive words here at the end, and I hope you all have a great night, and we'll see you all later. Hang on, that way I can.
Thank you.